Yo, what's good YouTube, man? It's Gary with another Fan TV, man. Back action of this video. Like the content of this video, go smash that like button. Like the content of this channel, go ahead and subscribe, man. Look, so I want to talk about the Ravens free agents today, man. You know, it's the off season I'll talk about right now, kind of in a little bit of a dead period right now. So let's talk about the fact that the Ravens have 24 free agents. And let's keep it simple, man. Who to keep, who to let go. We'll do keep let go offense and keep let go on defense. So Ravens, like I said, they got 24 guys. We're not going to do a whole long, speech on each and every single guy, but, the more important guy we'll talk about a little bit more in depth, obviously, right? All right. So, starting on offense, right? So, keep, right? One guy on this list, Kevin Zeitler, all right? Kevin Zeitler, to me, is the Ravens' most consistent offensive lineman, right? I think Tyler Linderbaum is probably the Ravens' best offensive lineman, but the most consistent guy is Kevin Zeitler. You know what you're going to give him down in, down out, game in, game out. The Ravens must find a way to keep Kevin Zeitler, to keep their top two pieces on the offensive line with Linderbaum and Zeitler. They need to find a way to keep him. Okay, so that's number one for me. That's easy, right? Odell Beckham Jr., right? This might be a little bit controversial one right now. For me, it's also contractual, right? I think Odell has a lot of damn money that could hit the Ravens' pocket, if he's not extended and things like that. So I think the Ravens probably want to avoid that. But also, Odell is a veteran in the room, right? He's a guy that I think that is an important voice for Lamar Jackson, for Zay Flowers, for Rashad Bateman. I think that he's an important vocal leader, right? Wherever Odell Beckham goes, his teammates love him, right? Now, hopefully in year two, if he is to play with the Ravens again, you see a bump up in production on the field, right? Because that's why they got him here. Not just be a leader off the field, but do things on the field as well. You would have to hope for that, right? But for me, I'm keeping Odell. All right. Nelson Agholor, man. He really surprised me. When the Ravens signed Nelson Agholor, I was very, very down on the sign, and all throughout this year, he's done nothing but elevate, right? Be a consistent guy. When Lamar Jackson needed somebody to make a play, be consistent, be sure. Nelson Agholor was there 9 times out of 10. Now, he had a couple of drops throughout this year, of course. That's been a part of his that's been a part of who he is, wherever he's been. But for the most part, I've enjoyed having Nelson Agholor on this team, right? All right. So I would love to see him bring back, right? For me, the Ravens, they have to attack the wide receiver room, but I don't think they should just go all young. And the Ravens haven't been a team before getting Odell that spent big money in the free agent market. Now, could they do that? Should they go after guys? I would love to see that. I don't know how realistic that is, right? That's just my opinion on it, all right? The last guy on offense, I'm saying keep John Simpson, right? Now, not because I think he should be run back as the left guard starter automatically, no. But for depth, you got Void, he's coming back. You got Cleveland here. I would like to see John Simpson still be here just to get Ravens more depth on the offensive line. Offensive linemen go down, they get hurt. And John Simpson, to me, he might have been one of the weaker links on the offensive line, but he wasn't terrible, right? I would like to see him come back. Honestly, that's my opinion on it. All right. Now, offense for guys that you letting go. So a couple easy ones. Laquan Treadwell didn't really do much. He's practice squad kind of guy. Tyler Huntley, I think his time is kind of run here. I think that the Ravens got Malik Cunningham at the end of the year to be the backup quarterback next season. So I would let Tyler Huntley go. I think that's probably the signal that I got from that he's going to go somewhere else. All right. Josh Johnson is kind of in the middle because he could be the Ravens' third quarterback next year, but whatever. All right. Now for the tougher decisions, right? The running back. Well, sorry, one more guy before that, Devin Duvernay. I think Devin Duvernay's time as a Raven has come to an end. Good player, good special teams player. Hadn't really put it all together at wide receiver. Did some things when given the opportunity. It didn't fully come to fruition for him, okay? So I would let Devin Duvernay walk. And honestly, when Tylan Wallace was back there at punt returner, kick returner, I liked him a little bit better than Devin Duvernay this season. So if I can keep Tylan Wallace on this team and not have to pay Devin Duvernay, I'm going to do that, right? So Devin Duvernay go. So now, the running backs, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, right? I'm letting both of them go. All right, now J.K. Dobbins, for me, is more about, I think that it just seems to be bad luck between him and the Ravens right now, right? Maybe that doesn't make the most sense to let somebody go because of that. But for me, I think he deserves a chance to go somewhere else, right? Play, being in a fresh environment. You know, he's one of those guys where it seems like a new scenery could be really, really good for him, right? That's how I feel about J.K. Dobbins, right? And as far as Gus Edwards go, the Ravens just never seem to give Gus Edwards the usage that maybe he deserves, that he needs, right? You saw in the playoff game, right? He just didn't get a guy. He doesn't get the touches, right? To me, for the Ravens, they need to revamp the running back room, right? You know how the Ravens attacked wide receiver last year, right? That's what I would like to see them do, right? To me, you get a guy. I know people don't want to pay running backs nowadays, but to me, you pay game-changing running backs, right? You don't pay every running back, but game-changing running backs, you pay. So at the top of the list for me is Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. You get one of those two guys, it makes all sense in the world to pay him, especially Saquon Barkley, right? You get him, you draft a running back, and you have Keaton Mitchell here, and you still have Justice Hill here. That's a good young running back room going into, well, I'm going to say young, but it's a good experience. It's a nice mix of young and vets going into next year, right? The Ravens need to find a way to take pressure off of Lamar Jackson in the running game. And having a star, true 3-down running back like Saquon Barkley next to Lamar Jackson, to me, is the best way to do that, right? Will it happen? I don't know, probably not. But that's my guy, like, go get Saquon Barkley, right? So I'm letting Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins go. That's just my personal opinion on it. Not that they're bad players, not that they're washed, this and that. The Ravens need to get a true 3-down guy here. So Saquon Barkley, for me, is that kind of guy you gotta try and get. And even if it's not, Keaton Mitchell has showed a lot. I don't think Keaton Mitchell is your RB1 starting kind of guy, but you can give him a run, right? All right. Now, defense, has a lot of guys on defense, right? So to keep, guys out, just do a quick set this on. Ronald Darby played solid well enough. I would love to see Ronald Darby back. Darryl Wally, special teams, very important. Brent Urban, good rotational piece. Malik Harrison, special teams player. Delshon Phillips, special teams player, right? Now, these two guys I want to see back, right? So Malik Harrison, he also can fill that outside linebacker when the Ravens seem to have a lot of injuries there. He's good at setting the edge, being a run-stopping edge guy when called upon. I want to see Malik Harrison back, all right? Delshon Phillips, when he got a chance to play with the Steelers, when he gets a chance to play anytime, he plays well. I would like to see him back as well. All right, Arthur Marlette surprised me. I wouldn't mind to see him back. Darius Washington, I thought, was really good. So you get going into next season, you get the competition for that slot corner between Arthur Marlette and Darius Washington. Let the best man win. I'm all for that, right? I would love to see that kind of competition go. All right. And then the big two guys, right? The big two names that we can talk a little bit more about, right? Jadeveon Clowney and Justin Madubuike, right? Now, Jadeveon Clowney has been a mercenary kind of figure where he's going to a lot of teams, 1 year, 2 year deals here and there. I remember listening to talking on the Ravens Lounge podcast a while ago, like during the season, that he wants to find a home, right, where he can just calm down and spend his last couple years to retire. I would love to see that be the Ravens for the Jadeveon Clowney for two reasons. One, he stops the run as well, right? You need a guy that can do both, right? And the second reason is he had a career year, right? Mike McDonald is gone. Yes, I think the system with Zach Orr won't change significantly. It will be his own little tweaks to it, but I think it will be the same, right, in multiple ways, right? So to me, I'd love to see Clowney back, right? And Justin Madubuike is the #1 high priority for the Ravens in terms of their free agents, right? Interior guys who can get 10, 12 plus sacks a year are uncommon, right? There are rare kind of guys. We just saw KC win it again. Obviously, they got Patrick Mahomes, but we cannot discredit having Chris Jones, all right, in the middle causing havoc. Brock Purdy missed 2-3 touchdown passes because Chris Jones was in his lap, right, in his face, causing pressure. Literally 2 to 3 touchdown passes was missed because of Chris Jones. The Ravens have that kind of player right now. It doesn't matter, BK. They can't let him go, right? So to me, that's easy, right? That's easy, right? Now, on defense, not a lot of guys on defense that we could talk about. But to keep it real quick for guys I'm letting walk on defense, Rocky Senior to me just didn't have the kind of year that we were expecting. I think the Ravens can go and honestly draft a corner in this draft, right? You get Marlon Humphrey, draft a corner. And you still have Ronald Darby, Marlette, Darius Washington, those kind of guys. I'm not pressed to bring back Rocky Senior, right? To me, he was underwhelming this year. Also, obviously, you have Brandon Stevens here as well. I don't want to get Brandon Stevens. Obviously, you have him as well. All right. So, like I said, yeah, you can't forget Brandon Stevens as well. So, I can see I'm not pressed to bring him back. Trayvon Mullen, I don't think I know nobody knows he's Lamar Jackson's cousin. So, all right. Now these guys right here: Patrick Queen, Geno Stone, Kyle Van Noy. You gotta let them go, right? Now, Kyle Van Noy, to me, it came down between: do you want Kyle Van Noy or do you want Jadeveon Clowney? Because I don't think the Ravens can afford to bring back both guys, right? Kyle Van Noy had a career year. I think he had 9 or 10 sacks, something like that. He had a lot of sacks this year, right? So I'm not saying his market is going to be crazy because he's an older pass rusher, but I don't think the Ravens can bring back both guys. You got to choose one. And if I had to make the choice between Clowney or Van Noy, I choose Jadeveon Clowney. That's just my opinion on it. Okay, Geno Stone played like a starting safety for 3/4 of this year. He's probably going to be paid like a starting safety. The Ravens can't afford to pay him and Marcus Williams. And then you're going to have Kyle Hamilton come up in a couple years where Kyle Hamilton is probably going to demand top of the line safety money. So you just can't have all three guys, right? I love him. Geno, go be a starter somewhere else. He deserves that, right? And then the biggest guy, right? The Ravens' top 2 free agents this year, honestly, is Dustin Madubuike and Patrick Queen, right? Patrick Queen, you have to let go, okay? The Ravens cannot afford to pay 2 inside linebackers $18 million plus, right? I looked up his market value on Spotrac. You know, they do all the contract things like that. They said Patrick Queen's market value is $18.5 million, right? The Ravens can't pay him that and pay Roquan $20+ million, right? Me personally, I've been saying it the entire year. I've been saying it last year, right? Going into this season, we probably knew that this was going to be Patrick Queen's last year as a Raven, right? And this is not to say to get rid of him because he's bad or anything like that, but they just can't afford him, right? So he balled out. He played well. I'm happy that he's going to get paid, and it's probably going to be somewhere else, right? What Trenton Simpson did this year, we didn't see a lot of, right? But when he showed flashes in that Steelers game, and honestly, if you look at the profile for Trenton Simpson, it sounds a lot like Patrick Queen coming out. Fast, physical, still learning how to read things on the back end, getting better. It sounds a lot like Patrick Queen before he, that light switched on for him, right? So if I say I got Zach Orr, defensive coordinator, former inside linebackers coach, right, who's been working with Trenton Simpson probably all year. All right, I got Roquan Smith right there in his ear as well. I'm comfortable with saying that Trenton Simpson go out there, training camp next year. You try to win the second inside linebacker job, and you try to replace Patrick Queen, right? Do I want to see Patrick Queen go? Of course not, right? He turned into a great, awesome player, the kind of player that the Ravens expected him to be when they spent the first-round pick on him. But unfortunately, they got Roquan here. Not unfortunately, I don't say that because it's great that Roquan's here. But they got Roquan here. It's unfortunate they can't play both guys. They just can't pay both of them, right? So, in a lot of ways, this was the Ravens' year to get it done. They had all this talent on the team, and they didn't win championship, right? But you got to move on from that, and it's the consequences that come with it, right? So, yeah, man. So that's how I got to separate offense, defense between the guys I'm letting keep and let go. I don't expect you guys to talk about all 24 guys in the comments, but give me a couple of your key guys that you want the Ravens to keep, and a couple of guys that the Ravens got to let go. All right, so that wraps up for today, man. But it's Gabriel, it's on Fan TV. I'm out.